Hey pups, it's me, Pup Copper, and guess what time of year it is? It's almost time for the Steam Winter Sale. Based on what we know, the sale will kick off on December 22nd and run through January 5th of the new year. So this is a great time to pick up games on discount, since some games will be discounted a little bit, some will be discounted quite a bit, and then some may not be discounted all that much, if at all. So, but seriously, you can save a lot of money during the Steam Winter Sale. I mean, or any Steam sale in general, but more so the Steam Winter Sale. So, I've got a list of titles here, and we're just going to kind of go into it. A few things before we begin here. We don't know what the actual sales will be and what the discounts will be. So, this is all really speculation based off of last year's sale. And the past is not always prologue. So, personally, I don't anticipate sale prices being less generous, but you never know. You really don't. So, we'll just see what things look like. And also, all the data I'm going to show for what happened last year, it's based off the website steampricehistory.com, and it's linked down there. I think down there in the description. And I noticed a little wonkiness on some of the titles, so I guess their data feed's a little off in certain places, but it generally looked kind of like what I'd expect to see for the discounts and what I remember. So I'm using their data is reasonably accurate, barring anything else. Second, my list here isn't meant to be comprehensive at all. These are just titles that I've picked out that I have played in the past or I am currently playing, which I enjoy, and which I've seen pop up as good deals on Steam. So this doesn't include my entire Steam library, by no means. So my best recommendation is just to go through Steam in the next couple of days, pick out games that you want or would like to keep a watch on, and add them to your wish list so that you'll get a notification from Steam if they do go on sale during the winter sale. So, yeah, and of course, it goes without saying, you may not vibe with my selections at all. Obviously, if you're watching my channel, we have some overlap, but you may not vibe with all the titles. You may be like a simulation person who doesn't really care about RTSs or anything. So yeah, just kind of run with it. And I'll see if I can do like a chapter thing, so like you can like skip between RTSs and simulation and stuff. We'll see. My YouTubing skills are very minimal, so we'll see how well that works. Other note is, while the winter sale is a Steam thing specifically, other gaming platforms such as Epic and Origin will do their own competing sales, and they'll just call it something different, like a holiday sale or whatever. And then, some publishers, like Paradox, for example, that have titles listed on Steam, they will discount their titles on Steam, and they'll discount it on their direct store. So, like, Cities Skylines is a good example. Sometimes when stuff goes on sale on Steam, if you check Paradox's website, they will generally be matching the Steam sale price, or maybe they'll be giving a little bit more generous of a sale price on their own website. Yeah, and in that case, you buy it through the publisher. You just get a key, and you just load that into Steam, and you're good to go. And of course, other platforms like Epic and Origin, you buy the game on there. You have to launch the game on there. So there's that. Yeah, and finally, the other caveat here is I want to make it clear I'm not being sponsored in any way whatsoever for this video. I wish I had a sponsor, but I'm not. This is me just kind of helping you guys, any of you people who are kind of new to Steam or new to the winter sale, or you've become interested in some of the games I play and you kind of want to know if it's worth getting during the winter sale. This is kind of what this guy is meant to be. So yeah, we're just going to get into it here. We're going to start off with a bunch of RTSs, and we'll gradually work our way into simulation stuff, and then my wish list and everything. So yeah, we're going to just rock through this. So the first game on our list is Total Annihilation. It's one of the first large-scale RTSs, And it's a fun game to play with a fairly large modding community. Even though the game was released in the late 90s, it's still got a lot of support. Uh, yeah, the graphics are a little dated, but the gameplay is solid. It's got some good, mission profiles and things like that. So yeah, I think it's worth it. The Steam version is a particularly good port. So yeah, I'd say this is worth it. It normally sells for about $5, but in past sales, it's gone on sale for about $2. So I think at the sale price, it's a pretty fair deal. And yeah, I think this would be totally worth it. So the second game on our list here is Supreme Commander and its expansion pack, Forged Alliance. These are considered to be kind of a spiritual successor to Total Annihilation, and this was released in the late mid 2000s. And what I love about it is just the scale of this. I mean, wow, look at that. Look at that. It's just a massive map, and you can get in a skirmish battle with hundreds and hundreds of units. It's just epic. Yeah, and it's one I keep going to time after time, just because it's got a lot of good replayability. And this is what you're seeing right here is gameplay from the expansion pack, Forged Alliance. Both Forged Alliance and the base game have great single-player campaigns. The only thing I'll fault Forged Alliance for is that they really didn't develop unique campaigns for each faction. It's the same campaign, but just the different faction is there depending on who you select. So that it is what it is. But otherwise, I think this is a good game. It's solid. It plays well on Windows, and yes, at large scales, it can hiccup a little bit. But otherwise, it's perfectly good game. I highly recommend it, and it's usually Supreme Commander and Forged Alliance usually retail for about $12.99, but I've seen them go on sale for as low as $2.59, and that was at the price of the last Steam Winter Sale. So yeah, it's totally worth it at that price. And yeah, and you can just manage the battles at the zoomed out level, or you can just manage it at a real micro level. It's got a lot of flexibility here. So yeah, I highly recommend it as one to pick up during the winter sale if it does go on sale. The next game is Sins of a Solar Empire trilogy here. You'll have to forgive me. I don't have it installed on my desktop computer, which I'm recording this on. But yeah, Sins is a good game. It's a good massive scale RTS. It's kind of like Supreme Commander, but in space, and there's some aspects of colony management and base defense. But yeah, it's a solid game too. What I'm not a fan of is this is a fairly older game. You can see here, 2010. It's over 10 years old, yet it still goes for this combined pack goes for $19.99. Yeah, but it does go on sale for about 50% off. So if you can snag it at $5 or under, yeah, you should just totally pick it up. The one thing I would caution is that it doesn't have a single player campaign. So if that's what you're something you're looking for in a real time strategy game, I'd recommend probably just going for Supreme Commander over Sins of a Solar Empire and Total Annihilation, just because it's going to be about the same age as Sins of a Solar Empire, and it's going to be just as, if not more, stable. Now, our next one is it's Offworld Trading Company. And yeah, I did a video about starting a campaign version of this a couple weeks ago. Wow, I shit the bed on that. I did a campaign about this. I did a video about this a couple of weeks ago, and yeah, it's a great game. I think it's just completely worth it. Let's see, yeah. Just do that. There we go. And yeah, it's a great little game. I highly recommend buying at least the base game. I mean, I'm kind of meh on the expansions, but you know, they add some stuff. But yeah. So yeah, I think it's totally worth it. Usually on Steam, it's gone for about half. The base game is gone for about half off, and the DLC packs seem to kind of be all over the place. But yeah, like I said, I'm more lukewarm on buying the expansions, but the base game is solid. The base game is solid. It has a lot of replayability. The campaigns are good. It's worth doing it. It's worth doing it. And oh well. Well now. And I highly recommend getting it. Like I said, at least getting the base game. Uh, if and you know, depending on what you want from out of the game, you just look at the DLCs and see if any of them speak to you. Yeah, sales are a great time to get this game. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. It's a good game. It's really not. It's really fun to play, and even though it has some pressure to it, it's very laid back. You can just kind of play it and chill for a while. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Yeah. So next one on the list is Project High Rise. This is like the modern version of Sim Tower. It's not made by Electronic Arts. I'm just keep that in mind. It's just Sim Tower is the best point of comparison I can provide for it. I mean, you can do just a free build game. You can do a whole bunch of scenarios. The scenarios are great in this game, and they're kind of challenging. Yeah, and I have the Las Vegas expansion pack. That's the only one I have. But yeah, you get a bunch of stuff, a whole bunch of additional scenarios. That's what I really like about the game. The scenarios are just really, really nice. And I'll just load into a tower here, so you can just kind of see what it's like. I mean, this is what Sim Tower wished it could have been, and this is a tower where I've kind of won it. It's primarily kind of an economic simulator, but yeah, I mean the scale of this game is just so much larger than what Sim Tower was. It's great. Uh, this is another game where the expansions and their prices haven't really thrilled me, but the base game is worth it. The base game is absolutely worth it, and it's gone on sale. Its normal retail, from as far as I can work out, is about $20, and it goes on sale typically for about $6. So if you could snack it for under $10, that's a good deal. I mean, yeah, this is even just the base game has a ton of stuff. It's great. Yeah, I mean, it's so much more in-depth management of your tenants and everything. It's just fantastic, and I highly recommend the game. I highly recommend it. So this next game is one that gets its own like little table that you can see up there. City Skylines. I love City Skylines. It's the second most played game in my Steam library, after Satisfactory. Satisfactory has just blown right past it and crushed it in terms of hours played, but City Skylines is the next highest, and for good reason. It's a good game. It's a good game. Now, like many Paradox games, City Skylines has a ton of expansions. Not all of them are worth getting, but if you can snag some of the good ones during the Steam sale, then I'd highly recommend going for it. But absolutely, the base game is great. $7.49 on is what it was on sale at last year. If you can, and in general, if you can just get it for under $10, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. The four expansions I would say are must-haves for the game to kind of round it out nicely are the After Dark expansion, which does a lot of commercial zone and touristy build-outs. Natural disasters, because what's a city builder without natural disasters? Here, I mean, let's just say we need to do some urban renewal here. And then Green Cities. Green Cities kind of adds a nice little bit of depth to the game, and it offers something that other city builders have not done in the past, which is its kind of eco-friendly focus. So it's a nice little change of pace. And then, of course, the industries expansion. I think the industries expansion, you can see my little ore mining zone over here, was a good call in terms of a feature. Oh, urban renewal incoming. Oh, that's interesting. I've never seen it glitch like that before. Okay, that's very interesting. But yeah, those are the 4 expansions I would recommend getting, and then there are a handful of DLC packs which will probably also be good, but not all of them are created equally. I think for the DLC packs, you just gotta look at what you want out of the game, and then wait for a good sale, because I just don't think that even the DLC packs that are worth getting, I think they're only worth getting at sale times. Now the four expansions I'm kind of meh about. I've played them. I like them. I don't think they're bad expansions. I just don't think they are complete enough ideas that they justify their price, when they could have been bundled as part of other expansions, or a couple of those meh ones could have combined into one expansion and work around a common idea. So those 4 would be Sunset Harbor, Park Life, Campus, and Mass Transit. Now, Mass Transit, I think, should have just probably been included either with After Dark, or it should have just been included in the base game. That's just me. And honestly, for the cost, I was kind of disappointed. When your expansions are going between $15 and $13, or $13 and $15 rather, that's kind of pricey, and it adds up quickly. Now the upside of the Steam sale is you get kind of these meh expansions for generally half off, which isn't bad, but I don't know, they just don't seem worth the time, the effort, or the money. Even though they each have interesting little ideas, I just don't feel like the ideas are enough on their own. They needed to be part of something else to really add value to the player. The one expansion I would wholeheartedly avoid is the Snowfall expansion. You get snowy maps and that's it. Now, if this was like changing weather or seasons, things like that, yes, I would love Snowfall. I think that would be perfect, but you're locked into this cycle of either the map has snow or the map doesn't have snow, and there's no in between, and I think that's kind of leaving a lot on the table. I understand there may be, engine-wise, there may be reasons why Paradox and Colossal Order could not do that, but I feel like without that transitioning and dynamicness of seasons, Snowfall just kind of falls flat. And then there's the other DLC, which I'm basically just calling I'd say any of the DLC packs are just kind of up to the player to decide if that's something you want, or the little DLC packs, not the expansions. But the radio stations, I just don't think they're worth the price for any of them. I just don't think they're worth the price. I just don't really think they add a lot of value, especially when you can just turn the in-game music off, pop your headphones in, and listen to Spotify or something. So, yeah. But, of course, this is the Paradox model where they crank out a base game that's not totally complete, or doesn't have like a super rich feature set, and then they pump out the expansion packs. Now, you might look at me being all super critical of Paradox and Colossal Order here, and like critiquing the heck out of City Skylines, but I actually love the game. And considering the cluster that SimCity 2013 was, City Skylines is great. City Skylines is so great. you can watch my other City Skylines video about features I want to see in City Skylines 2, which is there somewhere, somewhere around here, maybe the description box or wherever. But yeah, other than those trade-offs, City Skylines is a good game. It's fun, and it's a good and engaging way to spend just a lot of time doing something nice. I mean, especially if you go onto YouTube and look at like what Kibitz has done with his City Skylines playthroughs, or Biffa, or any number of the big City Skylines personalities. So yeah. If you regularly watch my channels, and if you do, why have you not liked this video? Maybe you subscribe? I mean, why not? Why not subscribe? You probably figured out that I really, really, really like Satisfactory. And that's why this is the first game on my Games Worth full price list. Basically, this is a game where, if it goes on sale, great, get it. Taking advantage of saving a couple bucks. And I'd say we don't really have a good history of how much Satisfactory may be discounted during the winter sales, because last year was only a $6 discount. So who knows what this year will be. But this is honestly a game I'd buy at any price. I would buy it at full retail, and heck, it's good enough that I would buy this thing at $60. I'm surprised this is not priced higher than what it is, because this is such a great game. I mean, I know it's still in early access, so that's one reason why I guess you could make the argument that it should carry a lower price. But this is a phenomenally well built game for being early access, and the developers are just paying so much attention to the fan base and what our needs are, squashing bugs, all those kinds of things. The game is just gorgeous. I mean, great, and there's just so much to do. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, it just keeps getting better. There's a giant fan community on YouTube, Twitch, and Reddit. So, don't just take this pup's word for it. Go check out like Total Eclipse or Kibitz. Watch one of their streams. I mean, or just scroll through Reddit r/Satisfactory and just see how great of a game this is. I mean, it is just so worth it. It is so worth it. I highly recommend getting it. Just bite the bullet and do it. This is just a fantastic game. This is just, I mean, it's just great. It's just great. Yeah, definitely get it. I can't say enough. I mean, just look how beautiful this is. This is early access still. This is early access. And even when it first went live on Epic, it still looked pretty darn good. And they've just kept refining it more. And, yeah, just get Satisfactory. It's great. Now, the next one on my list of stuff that you should get at full price is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a phenomenal game. It's just gorgeous. And one of the nice things is that it lends itself to so many different play styles. And so you can kind of do whatever you want in the game. It's great, a great open world game. And yeah, it's one I recommend quite highly. It's just, I mean, look at this. This is gorgeous. This is absolutely gorgeous, and it's all unique and procedurally generated. This is, it's stunning. Stunning. I have to say, when I bought the game right when it came out, because I thought, this is a cool idea for a space game. This sounds like exactly what I want. And then I was kind of disappointed with the lack of depth to it, and thought, well, I just wasted $60. And I left it alone for a couple of years, came back to it in 2020-ish, I think. And I've just been really impressed with how much the game has grown, how much stuff has been added, how much it's been optimized, and just that Hello Games continues to do all this stuff for existing players for free. They've just been fantastic about, even though it's taken them time, they've been fantastic about delivering on the promises they made about the game up front, listening to players and taking in their feedback and incorporating it into the game. And it's great. And now that they've added the expeditions mechanic, where it's like a limited time mission event thing that they launch every so often, and you get special loot rewards out of completing parts of it. I think it's a great time for a new player to get into the game and just get immersed in it. The game, you can be handheld in the game, which is fine. If you've never played it before, you probably want that. The game otherwise is very intimidating. I think it's worth it. I think just given the state of the game now, 5 years later, almost 6 years later, the game is definitely worth its full $60 price. But if you can get it at any price below retail, great. Typically, it's based on the 1 year sale history and the 2020 sale. It goes on sale for about half off, so about $30. So I think this is worth it. And yeah, just get the game. Just get it, have fun with it, explore it, do like community raids, build a base, feed alien creatures, get eggs. I mean, just do it. It's great. I can't help but gush about it. I should probably play it more, but I don't know. Satisfactory kind of has my interest right now, and I'll probably come back to this at some point. And the next game here, and I apologize for the stock footage, is Stardew Valley. I'm gonna just be upfront and say that I play this on the Switch, but and to be fair, it's well optimized on the Switch, and actually it makes a great little game to have on a Switch. It's not like super computing intensive or graphics intensive, and it's just nice. It's nice and low key. But if you want to get it on PC, I totally suggest getting it on sale, or even at full price, honestly. And you know what? For what it is, Stardew Valley is not an expensive game, which is kind of weird because it has all this depth and nuance to it, which is fantastic. Its retail price is only about $15, and its sale price has been at about $10. So, yeah, it's cute, it's engaging, it has a plot that you very subtly unearth, and it has mechanics well built in the game to keep you engaged and keep you playing for prolonged periods of time, while also giving you good break points to step away from the game. It's a good balance, I think, and the one guy who developed it did a great job with it. I cannot gush about it any less. If you want an idea of what the gameplay is like, and you don't mind being spoiled a little bit, I recommend going to Avic's channel, link somewhere here, I don't know, YouTube, and just start watching through videos on the playlist. It's a really good playthrough. Of course, he's played earlier versions of Stardew Valley, so he speeds through some things where you might take more time, or you may not move at as quick of a pace as him, but it still gives you a good overview of the game, and that's honestly his playthrough is what I used before deciding whether or not to get it on the Switch. I think no matter what platform you get on, whether it's on the Switch or you get it on sale on Steam or wherever, it's a good value for what you pay for it, and yeah, totally worth it. So, that now brings us to our list of what I want out of the Steam sale. So, prepare to see my wish list here. It's got a lot of stuff on it. Not all of it is stuff that I'm kind of really looking for during the Steam sale. Some of it's just things that I was told about by friends and I put it on here, or I thought they were interesting. But I'll walk through the games that I actually do want. So I have to scroll down the list to find the first one that I want here. The Earth 2150 trilogy. This is something I played. What was it? I played the Moon Project standalone off of a CD back in the early 2000s, and it was a good game, and I think really I just want this for kind of a nostalgia value. I'm not sure how well optimized it is for a modern operating system, since the last time I played it, I was probably playing it either on Windows XP or Windows Millennium. So who knows how well it'll run this time. But yeah, it's got a neat little storyline to it, and I'd say this is probably one where even though it's only $7, I'm just not going to pay more than the sale price for it, and based on history, it's usually been discounted down to $2.79. So yeah. Next one is the second game on this list that I either want or have wanted, thanks to Josh on Let's Game It Out. The first one being Satisfactory. His videos are the ones that kind of really brought my attention to Satisfactory, and then Kibitz kind of really pulled me in with what's there. It's like that meme from Django Unchained with Leonardo DiCaprio. I may insert it here somewhere. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what we do in editing. But anyways, it's the second game on my list that has been that I've kind of been interested in, thanks to Let's Game It Out, is Astroneer. Astroneer seems like a cute little exploration survival production game. Well, and it seems like it has a good little plot to it. So yeah, I think it could be something fun. And here's Stardew Valley right here on my list. Yeah, so I'm keeping a watch on it, because even though I have it for the Switch, I might just get it for PC as well. And then another one, thanks to Let's Game It Out, if I can find it here. Oh no, I thought I added this. I guess I didn't. Well, we'll just look it up and add it. I'll just go here, and Hydroneer, aka Shoplifting Simulator 2020. This, if you haven't watched the Let's Game It Out videos, I highly recommend watching them. They're hilarious, and Blitz also has some fun videos of Hydroneer. They're just, it's the consensus of the community seems just be to play the game in no way, shape, or form the way it was meant to be played. Just do random and zany stuff, or just fool around. Yeah. So yeah, I think this just because it's cheap, I think that might be worthwhile. Hydroneer, its retail is $9.99, which honestly, it's one of those games where I'm kind of surprised about, given what it has available. I'm surprised it's that inexpensive. And it's gone on sale for about $3 less. So, I'd say just, if you're going to go buy it, just go ahead and wait for the sale. Next one, and this is not thanks to Josh, rather this is thanks to Jacksepticeye from watching his playthroughs of it, is Subnautica. Subnautica actually looks really cool. And it's kind of like No Man's Sky or Osiris New Dawn. It's the same kind of exploration, survival, crafting mechanics. Actually, I think No Man's Sky might actually be a better comparison. But yeah, it's it looked interesting. I think it will be a fun one to have, and based on what's happened in the past, it typically goes on sale for about half off during the winter sale. So right now its retail is $29.99, so it goes on sale for about $15. So again, I'd get it for the sale price. Next one, I hate having to scroll through the list here, is the Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. So let me just say, I'm a big Command & Conquer fan. I've been playing the Command & Conquer since the first Red Alert back in the 90s. It is phenomenal. I love it. I have to say though, even though I Red Alert 1 and then Command and Conquer are what brought me into the franchise, I kind of prefer the more modern Command and Conquer games. So like Red Alert 2 is really my jam, and I also really like Generals. The older Command and Conquer's not as much. Uh, this is one where I'm really pleased as punch that this was remastered and made compatible with modern operating systems. I think that's great, and I'm so happy with what Electronic Arts did with this game, considering how they've left other franchises that will not be named to die. But honestly, even though it's on my wish list and I totally grab it if it goes half off, I might just wait until Red Alert 2 gets remastered. If it gets remastered, I would hope it does. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what what happens. Maybe I will snag it on sale. We'll just see. It just depends on the sale price. Like I said, it usually goes for about half off during past sales. They may discount it more. Who knows? Who knows? Next one is a game that you guys may not be all that familiar with, and I wasn't until it was recommended to me. It's X4 Foundations. This is kind of like, they call it a space sandbox, but it's like a single-player EVE Online. It just kind of has that kind of scale and scope, and it's very, and there are also elements of like No Man's Sky, I'd say, but yeah, I think it looks very interesting. Could be a lot of fun. The discounts aren't as generous on this. The retail is about $50, and the best sale price I've found for X4 is $32.49. But I think it could be worth it. The only thing holding me back from actually getting it is I just don't have time to get involved with it. And that's the same reason I don't play EVE Online anymore. It's because I don't have the time to commit to it, and I can only play in irregular bursts. So I just don't know if this would fit kind of where I am right now. And if we go back to my library here, next one in the table here is the Europa Wager expansion for Offworld Trading Company. Again, like I said earlier, I'm kind of mad about the expansion, so I don't know. I feel like I could take this one or leave it. The discounts really haven't been that great on it. I think I'd really only get it if it was under $10. But the best sale price in the past year has been about $11.24. So yeah, I don't really know. I don't know about it. We'll see. This may be one I pass over again. Then the final one on my list that you guys may have heard about is Dyson Sphere Program. Kibitz has a great playthrough if you want to get an idea for the game and what the gameplay is like. And I think it's really neat, and it's made by a small development team, but I think what they've done is just fantastic right now. Yeah. But again, I feel like I don't need a second Satisfactory in my life to just suck even more of my limited time away. So that's why I've been holding off on it. And it's kind of the same thing where the sale prices haven't been as generous. But to be fair, it's been on the market for less than a year. I mean, January 21 will mark a year that it actually has been on the market. So it makes sense that there's haven't been really any discounts to it. But I feel like I'm just kind of gonna wait for it to maybe get closer to full release, since it is early access, and I don't have a good feel for what the game is missing versus Satisfactory, and what it was missing when I got into it. So yeah, I don't know. I'll just see where it goes, and maybe I'll jump on it next year. We'll see. We'll see. Or this may be one of those many games that go into my library and then just collect dust. I mean, I have a lot of those. I'm going to be very honest. I have a lot of those. Also, I don't have them on my pup approved list, but the Jackbox Party Packs are fun. These are great games to play over Zoom with friends, and which is really relevant in this era that we're in right now. yeah, you just boot up one of these games, throw it up on through screen share on Zoom or WebEx or whatever, and you respond with your phone or tablet. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. The packs are a lot of fun. Totally worth the money. Yeah. And I guess that brings me to what to avoid during the Steam sale, and I'm gonna throw that up. What to avoid? So first off, I would avoid newer hyped games because more than likely, since those games are newer, any sale prices that they will carry are going to be less generous than if the games are slightly older. So a good example is City Skylines. Like, I mean, you go back in the video and you look at that little table I showed. The retail price is $30, and just because it's a digital game, the price I think the new economics of digital games is that the retail prices tend to remain kind of sticky, and because there's no incentive to discount to clear inventory. So the retail prices stay kind of stuck at their full retail level even years after release. But then they get very generous sale prices. So, that's kind of the trade-off. But if you want a game now, I guess just, even if the discount's not super generous, just, get it on sale, save a couple dollars. The second type of game to avoid would be buggy, bare, or incomplete games that have been fully released. And I'm using that term very generously. So these are games that lack a lot of that look pretty, but maybe lack a lot of strategic depth or replayability. A good example would be SimCity 2013. Buggy as hell, looks fantastic, but just a mess. A hot mess. The Sims 4 is another good example where the base game is bare as an empty cupboard, and you have to buy just a ridiculous amount of expansions and DLC to make it worthwhile. I mean, I'm astonished they're still making DLC for it, honestly. I guess they're really just trying to milk it until it dies out. Games that just kind of lack a lot of depth beyond a certain point would be, good examples would be Planet Base, Alien Colony. Those are good games. They're fun to play for like, 10 hours or so. But after that point, you just kind of get to a point where it's just like, okay, the same thing I've done again. There's a ticking clock, but, So there's just not a lot there. The third type are games that require a ridiculous number of expansions to fix a lack of base functionality. So I'm gonna call out Paradox here because they're a great example of this. Not just City Skylines, but I know there are issues with like Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis. There's another like historical series that they have that problem with. And then, of course, the granddaddy of them, Stellaris. Stellaris is a good game, but there are a lot of issues with the underlying mechanics of the games. The developers have had a habit of fixing things and then breaking a lot of other things and then trying to kind of cheat their way around it by just releasing gobs and gobs of expansions or DLC. Yeah, I'd say just unless it's just something you absolutely really want, just don't bother with it. Just save the money, buy something else that may be more worthwhile, and just go for it, and just avoid it. A final category of games that I would avoid during the Steam sales would be older games where little work has been done to stabilize it for a modern operating system. So this is kind of where I'm going to point out the difference here. So I called out Earth 2150 as being in my wish list, and I've seen some YouTube videos of it, and it seems like it looked. I mean, the graphics were never great, even when the game was released. But it feels like on modern computer, just from what I've seen, it seems like the stability is a little bit of an issue, and it just really does not like modern versions of Windows. That's in contrast to Total Annihilation, which has been cleaned up, and so it works well on Windows like Windows 10, Windows 11, etc., without having to do any weird compatibility layer stuff. Now, it is finicky. Don't get me wrong, Total Annihilation is finicky, and if you try to to Alt-Tab out of the game to like check a browser or something, that will crash the game. So it's not completely foolproof, but it's more stable than other older games. So yeah, you just need to watch out. I mean, Steam reviews are a great place to look through because you just want to get a feel. You'll want to get a feel for what you're buying, and maybe if you need to avoid it. Also, YouTube. YouTube is really a great place to look at game reviews or to get a sense for what gameplay on a modern system is like. So yeah, I mean, just do a little bit of research. Make sure that what you want, what you think you're getting matches what you want. I'm not saying you should spoil yourself in the case of games that have like plots, but at the same time, don't be afraid to watch videos, see if the gameplay is something that appeals to you and something you want to invest money and time into. I mean, we're kind of in a golden era of having that information available to us. Because I remember when I was a kid, it's kind of like you just go down to CompUSA and you pick up a game, you look at the box and be like, this looks cool. Okay, let's try this. Let's get it. And then you take it home, you put it in, and you play it, and it's a little disappointing. It may be fun, but it's a little disappointing. I mean, SimCity 2000 is a good example. The box art on SimCity 2000 is glorious. And, I remember thinking, why can't I build highways under bridges? Why? The box art has it. Why can't I do that? So, but now we live in this era where YouTube and Reddit are a thing, and you can look through and see if the games you want have issues. You can get a feel for how the community views the game, and whether or not that's going to be appealing to you. So yeah, I hope that I've given you pups some good advice here for the Steam sale. Leave me comments below. Tell me what you're excited about. Tell me what you're waiting to pick up this year. Yeah, and just have fun. Have fun. Build up your Steam library. If you're transitioning away from disc-based games to digital games, Steam winter sales are a great time for you. You will have fun. Just go out. Just start finding stuff. Just look for the genres that really interest you and call to you. So, yeah, that's it. We're going to pick up with Satisfactory soon. We're going to keep going back to that. I'm going to show you off what's going on with our little Xmas factory there. Until that point, don't forget to paw that like button if you like this video, and don't forget to boot the subscribe button so you stay tuned for more videos from me, Pup Copper.